All right, totally switching gears here, and let's talk about grief and realizing grief.
So it was when we were at the Bert's Big Adventure conference not too long ago, and I had a moment to sit outside by myself, and I was just sitting there and taking in the view and enjoying the quiet that I often don't get from a hectic life. And I can't for the life of me pinpoint where this came from or why, but my dad's just been really, heavy in my head and on my heart. I think about him every single day, and I know that's just what it's gonna be until the day I'm no longer Earthside. But you always love when I do that.
That's a fun way to put it.
It is.
When I'm no longer Earthside.
We're on Mars. I don't want to say the D word, okay? And I don't know, it just kind of dawned on me, and I'm sure I am not the first person to say this, but it's the first time I had thought it, but I realized grief doesn't get easier, we get stronger. So it was the first time I kind of understood that. I've always said grief is forever, because just because you love somebody and they're no longer here doesn't mean the love goes away. The love is always going to be there, God willing. So, you're always going to have the grief. You're just going to learn how to live with it. So grief is always going to be hard, but you are going to learn tools along the way, and you are going to get stronger in how you're going to deal with it. And I don't know why I just kind of had that little mini epiphany sitting out there. No, this is never going to get easy, but I think it was a moment of me to be proud of myself. And I don't think we often give ourselves that credit or that kudos. And it's I've come a long way in the 6 years since he's been gone. And I think it's every now and then you need to acknowledge your strength.
I think our producer Amber needs to hear this today, right?
Are you crying?
You made me cry. God darn it, you.
She has a way of doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's only because I relate to what she's saying so much. So recently, after the Bitter Ball, actually, I was I wanted to tell my mom, it was such a good time because last year, the Bitter Ball, I didn't work for you guys. I was on the outside of the VIP. I met everybody for the first time. I was just trying to figure things out. But this year was great because I'm working with you guys. I'm getting to know all of you, and it feels I haven't been this happy in a long time. And I wanted to call my mom to tell her. Crap. And anyways, so I decided to text her old number just to get it off, But somebody responded.
What?
Her number is now taken.
It's been reassigned.
It's been reassigned.
Okay.
Yeah. So somebody responded, and I found out that she's a mother of 8. And she was super kind, and she said, well, your mom loves you, and she's so proud of you, and she's still with you. And then yesterday...
Your mama knew you needed a message from her.
She did! Yesterday, I'm having dinner with my best friend, Wesley, and I get this text message, but her name is still saved as Mom, and it took my breath away because for a second, I thought my mom was texting me, but it was the woman she called. She texted me to say, hey, I just wanted to check on you and see how you're doing because you were so sad.
So sweet.
Yeah, and
That's beautiful, Amber.
I responded. I haven't called this woman yet, and I will eventually. But it's not something I could handle. But that text message,
You see that mom
I saw mom pop up. And it took me a second to figure out what.
And for those of you that kind of casually listen, Amber just recently lost her mom.
Yeah, October 25th of last year.
Look, I am not a fan of coincidences at all. I really don't believe in them. So the fact that this number was changed to this woman who supported you, who had no idea who you are, who is a mother of 8, I don't believe that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful story right there. And the fact she came back around and checked on you is really, damn, that's beautiful.
That's mom moves right there.
That's your mom. That's
Yeah.
the follow-up text like that, because she could have just done one and done, but the fact that she checked back in, that's your mom.
That's that was so awesome. It was something that I needed at that time. So it was
It was a
beautiful.
reason why you texted.
Yes. I needed to get that. I needed to, it's like when you go to someone's Facebook who's passed and you leave a message or you DM them or whatever. And I was like, well, I just didn't think that somebody already had her number. I don't know why. I should have. But it was a beautiful moment that was very needed.
Kristen, what am I trying to say here? I think you've got somebody that here is recently going through grief, and you've been dealing with it for a very long time. And I think you guys have had conversations off the air also. But for somebody that's recently lost somebody, what do you say to give them some kind of hope that it does get better when they're in the middle of it right now and it just feels so dark?
Like, one of my favorite things to say, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the pain is great because the love is great. And I've always relied on that to get me through like the darkest times in the beginning. Don't get me wrong, like that first year, and you have to go through the process. And they say like there's acceptance, there's denial, there's and something I learned at my Life Loss and Letting Go seminar is that it's not linear. That is all over the place. Like, you can, one day you're in bargaining, and the next day you're in denial, and the next day you're in acceptance, and then the next day you're back in anger. And it's like, it's all jumbled chaos, because you don't go from one to the end and be like, okay, I went through all the emotions and now I'm good and done.
Yeah.
It's constant.
It is.
It's like it's a chaos of emotions because you're feeling so many things at the same time. So there's no sugarcoating that, especially that first year. It's just it's rough, but it's rough because you loved her so damn much.
Yeah.
And so when you try to lean on that, let yourself have the bad days. Let yourself cry. Don't ever apologize for showing emotion or for crying, because those tears are not tears of sadness. While they feel like that, they're tears of love.
Love's got to go somewhere. Doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Bert Show.